Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Thursday morning to you from the Parmar Store Studio. Welcome to the show. The boss, Dale Cooper, is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill GM Superstore. If you're looking for a powerful, luxurious, and innovative truck, come check out the 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LTZ, and High Country, and many others as well. Find new roads to Thornhill GM Superstore. Click or come by at thornhillgmsuperstore.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile US 119 in Chapmanville. We do the show from the Parmar Store Studio. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. Parmar inviting you out to Wally and Wimpy's night tonight to Buffalo Wild Wings and Cross Lanes starting at 6. Lots of food and drink specials. Cool prizes, too, courtesy of Wally and Wimpy's, the premier sports publication in West Virginia. Pick those up at your favorite Parmar store. And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. Well, hope you enjoyed some sunshine yesterday because the snow's back in the forecast. Winter storm warnings, watches, advisories, all that stuff is set to kick in this evening. Expecting more snow, more ice, and more cold temperatures, too. Matter of fact, they say that on Saturday, as we're all over at the West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show at the Coliseum Convention Center, Saturday is actually going to be colder than what we experienced earlier this week. So you got that to look forward to. But
Yay.
They tell me that by next Friday we could be 60 degrees.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Definitely in the 50s next week and flirting with 60, and it's all going to melt.
There you go.
I have no problem with that.
That voice you hear is Rob Rio. We're going to get to him here in just a couple of moments. Plus, a little bit later on, Brian Dayton from the State Chamber of Commerce is going to stop by. And Justin Williams from the Affiliated Construction Trades Group. You know, stop me if you've heard this one before. West Virginia needs workers. And they are working on a program to try to find new workers, apprenticeships, things of that nature. We're going to talk to Justin about that. Plus, your calls and texts are always welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858 and the Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Okay, so if you've driven by 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston, there are some crazy people standing outside. Now, that's not unusual, as this building is surrounded by crazy people, mostly of the employees and some who frequent the parking lot from time to time, but we'll get into that on another show.
We are all nougat, whipped nuts.
As cold as it is, why are they out there? Well, it's the first annual Thornhill Automotive Group Sock Drop, where we're asking you, the greatest listeners in the world, to help us put new socks of those in need. We're teaming up with the folks at Mountain Mission to make it all happen. All of our stations are involved. WCHS, Charleston's ESPN Radio, 107.3 The Beat, V100, KAZ, V100. All of us, we're all hanging out there, and we are, working together to try to collect some socks. This guy that's kind of behind this whole thing, this was his crazy idea. The head of the crazy idea department here at WVRC Media Charleston, Rob Reel from our sister station 96.1 Superstar Country KWS, host of Up Real Early. How are you?
I'm tall. It does say that on the business card now. I am the head hooligan in charge of creative nonsense. I think maybe I don't know. All I know is that the most requested item at shelters and service providers is socks. It seems like such a simple thing, and yet just stand out there for 5 minutes. Especially if you had to walk through the parking lot in the wet and things that had frozen over and black ice, and then it got plowed again, and now it's wet. Think about how cold your feet are, and the Carrie Hudasek Memorial space heater.
Memorial? She didn't die, did she?
No, but it's right there under your feet, keeping you. So if you've got one of those under your desk, thinking about, oh man, my feet got cold this morning. Now think about the folks who are homeless, displaced. Think about the folks who, the families who maybe can't afford heat. So they need socks. Let's keep their feet. Like Lieutenant Dan told us, take care of your feet. Mm-hmm. If we can do that, let's literally start keeping folks warm from the ground up. That's what we're doing today.
And we started, 6, 7?
0700. And
once a military guy, always a military guy.
Well, yeah. And in fact, our first benefactor came through just after 7 with 80 pairs of socks to get us started.
Wow.
And we've had lots of folks come through. The Mountain Mission truck is in our parking lot. We're going until 6 this evening. And what we're seeking is simple. Packages, pairs of brand new, never worn, unopened socks. Mm-hmm. That's what we need, socks. And you're like, well, I can't make it to the store, but I could swing by on my lunch hour. We can do cash and check donations for Mountain Mission as well. But the focus today is socks.
Yeah, and you can get them, for next to nothing. I heard Jeff talking about one of the places that he picked up some last night. My wife actually stopped by Dollar Tree and got some socks yesterday, and sent me to work with them this morning. So here, again, what we're saying is it's real simple. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take a lot of time, and we're giving you plenty of time. And even if you can't make it out to somewhere to get some socks, cash and check donations, whatever, the folks from Mountain Mission will take that.
Yes,
if you're worried about giving us cash, which you probably should be worried about giving us cash, then it's real simple. You can just put it directly in their hands. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, nobody's going to run off to Mardi Gras with your cash donation or checks made out to Mountain Mission, and especially those socks. And one of the reasons that we pick socks is you don't have to worry about sizes. There's basically adult and kid size socks. And that's it. You don't have to. It's not like shoe sizes. You'll see on the socks there's sizes 7 to 13. Just socks stretch. Yeah. It'll be somebody who's got a size 15 shoe is not going to have a problem getting into a pair of tube socks that you brought. This is one of those things that we try to make it simple. We try to make it easy for folks to get in on the giving. I'm so proud of the way West Virginians take care of West Virginians, and this is another great opportunity to do that.
And this is kind of your baby. I mean,
it is
one of those things that because in the several dozens of radio stations that you've been fired from across the country, you get this opportunity to do this in other markets, and it's been a huge success. And as you said, West Virginians are the most giving people on the face of the earth. I mean, I have no doubt about that. I mean, you were here, you left, and you came back, and you're not from here, so you must like it for some reason, and that's one of the reasons you told me that you like it.
Yes, 17 states, 3 foreign countries, and there is no place like West Virginia when it comes to helping our friends and neighbors. It's amazing the way people pull together to take care of one another. And I've said before, I know there are policy things that need to be fixed in these situations. That's not what I do. That's not the tree I bark up. I'm just about helping folks and doing our best to keep them warm this winter. So come by, drop your socks before 6 o'clock.
And it's interesting that phrase, drop your socks, because let me tell you something about that. And Dale's our producer, Dale, you made me want to standing by on the dump button on this one. The last time, Robert, that I had you on the show, and we talked about the name Drop Your Socks.
Yes.
And you alluded to the fact that you were in the military. I always say thank you for your service.
It's my honor.
And there was, we kind of joked about the term drop your socks because there's a lot more to that statement. I'm not going to go into it because I kind of like the job and my boss is producing the show today, so I'm not going to go into the rest of that statement. But somebody on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, actually, they didn't print it out. They said something to the effect of, I know what you guys did there, because there's more to that expression, if you're a military person, than just drop your socks. And I'll leave it at that.
I think the first time through, I said that any man who has been through basic training knows what it's all about and is laughing maniacally. But I actually ran this by my ex-wife, who is retired National Guard, and she said they say it to them in basic training, and it's different. To know that they say, I should have never married a woman from the National Guard because it meant she only did laundry once a month and the house was only clean 2 weeks out of the year. But so apparently they say this to women in basic training and such too. So if you have served, you're in on the joke. And I do not recommend explaining it at work. You will end up in HR's office.
And the rest of the people right now are listening if they're at work and they're about to Google it and they're about to get fired, for Googling that on their work computer.
VPN. Do it on your phone, not on the Wi-Fi.
What'd you say, Dale? Dale said something to me. I don't know what it was. Oh, it's featured in Platoon. He told me. Yes,
it comes up in Platoon. It also comes up in Full Metal Jacket. The great R. Lee Ermey who really was a drill instructor before that film.
Okay.
And none of his lines are quotable on the radio.
None of them,
Not
absolutely.
a single one is safe to say on the radio.
All right, so they say it's going to warm up a little bit out there today, and that's a relative term with this.
Yes.
It seems like it's been the longest week of winter weather forever, but it is going to get in the upper 30s before the next snowstorm comes in this evening and during the overnight hours. So if you're looking to get out of the office today, come down and see us again. We make it real simple. We've cleared all of most of the vehicles off the parking lot out there. The vans are set up. We're at 1111 Virginia Street East, just up from Charleston Catholic High School. And we've got our crew is out there from all of our stations are out there. We've got the folks from Mountain Mission out there as well. You don't even have to get out of your car, if you don't want to.
You're thinking about going to the store and getting all of those French toast supplies, the milk, the bread, the eggs. Pick up a package of socks and bring them to us before this next round of storm hits. And that will warm your heart as well as warm the feet of so many of our needy friends and neighbors this winter.
Something we don't talk about enough, and I'll let you go because I know you got to get back outside, but something we don't talk about enough, your station, 96.1 KWS, is the reigning country music station of the year in the state of West Virginia. And so that's kind of a cool deal.
It is. I'm sure we won't repeat now that I'm back.
Well, you had little to do with it last time. Because
I had remarkably little to do with it last time. Shards of Glass are great. They are wonderful acknowledgments of how hard we work to improve people's lives, whether it's in ways like this, collecting socks to keep people warm, or just giving you something to sing along with. My goal every time I get on the radio in the morning is if you're not in a better mood 3 minutes after you've turned on up real early, then I need to work harder. I'm not doing my job well enough. So we want you to sing along. We want you to have fun. We want you to make going to work less of a dread for you, and we want to help our friends and neighbors too.
That's what it's all about.
Yes,
all right. Again, it's still at least 6 o'clock or so this evening. And again, this is even though this is kind of your brainchild, all the stations are out there. We're all going to be out there throughout the day today collecting these socks. We're asking for new socks packages, whether you can just afford one package that you pick up at the dollar store, or whether you can bring boxes, as people have already done. Any donation will be appreciated. If you want to do cash, or if you want to do check, whatever, the folks from Mountain Mission are set up outside with us as well.
Come by before 6 o'clock, even if it's one pair that you picked up at the checkout at your local Parmar store.
Well, cheap plug. Got a text here for you, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Text says, off topic, just wanted to ask Rob if he found his mother's Elvis concert ticket for the 1977 Indianapolis show.
I have not.
What's the story here? I don't know the story.
So the final concert for Elvis in 1977 was at Market Square Arena.
I did know that.
In Indianapolis. And I had been told for a while that I was actually at that show. I wasn't even 4 years old yet, so I take people's word for it. But I know my mother was there because one of her prized possessions was the ticket stub, and it was in her effects. I was her executor, so I'm going through all that, and I found it in her effects after she died. I have not been back to where that stuff is to get my hands on it. But if I, in my aged state, remember, I will take a photograph of that and post it on Al Gore's interwebs when I remember to do so. So I appreciate that somebody was listening up real early to even mention that.
Yeah, I just appreciate that anybody listens, especially when you and I are on here together, because it's 50-50, when people put us like, there's a reason why they don't let us on the air that often together.
Correct.
And I don't even want to bring in Steve Animal to this, because then it's a totally different animal, no pun intended.
Ashley has already been in here once.
HR, I mean, it's funny because we're getting, I'll let you go, but it's funny because we're getting ready to go on the show, and and Ashley's kind of miss everything around here, but she's the director of HR, comes in and just kind of looks at us.
The minute she walks in, I'm like, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
Both
it's not my fault.
Pointing at each other at the same time. All right, so you're out on the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Till 6 o'clock this evening. Sir. Get those socks out here, and a big shout out to the folks at Thornhill Auto Group for making it all possible as well.
Yes, thank you to Sydney and everybody for making it possible for folks to drop your socks. The WVRC Media Inaugural Edition.
All right, man. I'll be out there. I'm gonna extend the show to about 4 or 5 hours today, so I don't have to go out there and stand. But I'll be out there as well. I'll be out there a little bit later on as well.
Sir.
All right, Rob Reel from our sister station 96.1 KWS Superstar Country, again host of Up Real Early, and we're out there till 6 o'clock or so this evening. Drop Your Socks is brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group. Bring your your packages of socks to us, and you don't even have to get out of your car. We'll have people out there throughout the day today from Rob's station, from this station, the news department, promotions. We're all going to be out there hanging out today, collecting those socks, and Mountain Mission is here as well. And if you can't get to your local store to pick up some socks, cash, check, we'll take that as well, and it'll all be given to Mountain Mission. Bickley, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. From kitchens to paints to decks, straight framing wood, roofing metal, and anything else you need, you'll find it at General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
Hey, it's Sydney welcoming you to the new Thornhill Toyota, nestled in the heart of the Thornhill Motor Mile, where the magic of the holidays meets the thrill of Toyotathon. Whether you're dashing through the snow or cruising to Mama's house, Toyotathon at Thornhill Toyota has something for everyone. Unwrap incredible savings, special financing, and the joy of driving a brand new Toyota. Make this season merrier with us at Thornhill Toyota. Let's go places with Toyotathon and Thornhill. Shop ThornhillToyotaWV.com and on the road to total savings, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for all details.
West Virginia's top high school basketball talent will come together February the 5th through the 8th on the campus of West Virginia State University as Game Changer and Parmar stores present the Parmar Shootout. The shootout has been extended to 4 full days this year. Come see the top boys and girls teams in the state battle it out, 32 games in all. The first games tip off at 9:30 each morning. Game Changer and Parmar stores present the Parmar Shootout on the campus of West Virginia State University February 5th through the 8th. For a complete list of games, visit Parmar stores on Facebook and X. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Holy. 924 of the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? Well, did you know that Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap? At Bridge Valley, you can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships for more information. Bickley, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Oh, my goodness, look who just happened to stop by here. It's our good friend Rich Lindsay. How are you, man?
Doing fine, Dave. How you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. You came in to make a donation for the Drop Your Socks, but you had some information. You stuck your head in the door and said, hey, you might want to tell your listeners. I said, no, you sit down and you tell the listeners. What did you want to tell us?
Okay, well, first off, everyone listening should get down to the radio station and donate socks, but you can get your socks at the Drug Emporium there on Patrick Street because they're selling socks at 20% off down there. All types of socks, men's socks, women's socks, thermal socks, anything you can think of. So
there you go.
And I'm not being paid for this plug.
No, that's a good idea. Sure. I mean, those folks over at Drug Emporium, I know that I mentioned earlier that my wife picked up some at Dollar Tree. So there, and I'm sure your Big Lots and places like that. And there's plenty of other places. But I appreciate you letting people know that. How are things going out there? I haven't been outside because it's cold. I mean, because I've been working, preparing for the show.
Yeah, no, it's still cold out there.
It's still cold.
So nothing's changed really. Right. But Drug Emporium 20% off on Patrick Street.
All right, Rich. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, Rich.
Thank you, Dave. Take care.
Rich Lindsay. You never know who's going to stop by this studio. Sometimes I thought we had security, but I guess not. Justin Williams is here, the director. Let me make sure I get your title right, Justin. The director of ACT, the Affiliated Construction Trades Organization.
That's correct. And we're part of the West Virginia State Building and Construction Trades.
All right. So tell us what that organization does.
Sure. So we represent about 22,000 construction workers, union construction workers in West Virginia, and about 2,000 apprentices going through those 14 trade organizations that we represent in West Virginia.
Okay, all right. So we all know, Justin, there's a lot of construction going on now in West Virginia and a whole lot more to come. And we hear daily, though, of the struggles business owners have in finding employees. The struggle out there is real, man.
Yeah, it really is, and that's part of the reason I'm here. We're out there recruiting young people who want to change careers and have a great career ahead of them to join the trades, either through an apprenticeship program or go into one of your local union halls and sign up to go to work. That's what we want. We want people to go to work. It's a great career. You can make a living out of this. Good wages, benefits, health insurance, a pension, and those all kick in as soon as you start. And when you're an apprentice, you get paid while you learn the trade. And so it's, we see our college numbers are going down. It's been a big conversation. And so, this is a great opportunity to get more education in a specific area and make a career out of it.
What seem to be the in-demand positions at this time? I mean, I know construction's kind of an umbrella term, but what are some of the specifics or some of the top 2 or 3 that are really in need right now?
Sure. So we represent 14 trades, and it covers the spectrum, mostly in industrial and commercial construction. But, obviously electricians, there's a big push for EVs and all the grid infrastructure, just general infrastructure. So equipment operators, laborers, carpenters, millwrights, boiler makers that work in our powerhouses. It's cement masons. I mean, really it covers the spectrum. And it depends on the area of the state you're in, right? So a project like Nucor, there's going to be probably 4,000 or 5,000 different construction workers that go through there, depending on what part of the project they're in, right? You're going to start out moving dirt, have a bunch of equipment operators, bulldozers and cranes. Then you're going to start with concrete. So you have cement finishers in there. Then you're going to start the building, sheet metal workers, putting in electrical and plumbers and pipe fitters. So it kind of just rolls through. And what's good about these jobs is that, people go from job to job to job, but they make a career out of it because West Virginia really is in a good position with the construction that's coming here. Nucor, Toyota's been expanding year after year with new projects there in construction. And we work on the powerhouse companies. Down here in Canal City, there was the new cancer building. Now they're doing the training facility. Those are all great jobs for construction workers here in West Virginia.
Talking again with Justin Williams. It is 9:29 the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group. As a locally owned real estate powerhouse, they specialize in residential and commercial properties. No property too big or too small for Meeks. With their team of the finest realtors in the business, Meeks Realty Group is your trusted partner in finding your dream home or your dream commercial investment. Give them a call today, 304-401-1101, or visit meeks.us. Justin, I think it's kind of interesting because, and my listeners have heard me talk about this before. As a kid of the 80s, they told us, you got to go to college. You got to go get that 4-year degree. And that's not a bad thing necessarily, but there's a lot of folks that got that piece of paper in their hand and don't have anything to do with it. Yeah. And I like the fact now that our educators, political folks, or whomever, are telling people, counselors in public schools or even charter schools, whatever, they're telling people, you got to have some kind of training after high school, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, with all due respect to my alma mater, at Marshall University or WVU or State or whatever. It could be at any. Just get some kind of training.
That's right. And the best part about ours is you go and you get some base level training, then you go to work and you start making money and paying taxes and being part of your community. And so you go and you learn while you're on the job from people who've been doing this for 20 or 30 years. Then you go back and get more training. And, with our training facilities, there's jointly administered between the union and the contractor partners. So they're working with the contractors who know the projects that are coming kind of down the pipeline, and they're preparing the workers for that work. So, 30 years ago, they were building coal-fired powerhouses, and we were training people to do that. We still maintain those, but we're also working on natural gas pipelines. We also build windmills and solar farms. We're going to work on natural gas powerhouses. I mean, whatever it can be, we want to train those people so that they're prepared to not only build it, but we also have to maintain these facilities for the people that work in those facilities every day. And so it's a really great opportunity to get training outside of that traditional 4-year or even 2-year college. But one thing that we're working on this session and the legislature is to work towards getting an associate's degree when you complete an apprenticeship. So, it's a great skill and a trade to learn, but if you want to go out and start your own construction business, you'll have some kind of college training on that, whether it be in business administration or how to bid jobs, and learning some of those other aspects of the business world that you get in an associate's degree program.
So how How important or how much of a buy-in is there from the business community in all this?
It's huge. I mean, we really do partner with our contractors and then the owners and developers of these projects. So Nucor, for example, they bid it out and they want the best bang for their buck. And they know when they use one of our partner contractors, that's what they're getting, because our contractors have a pool of drug-free, highly skilled, highly trained workers that are going to come in there and get their job done on time and hopefully under budget and maybe even before time.
You mentioned the word drug-free. We all know, again, I talk about it every day. Political people that are on the show talk about it every day, the problem with the opioid scourge in West Virginia. And there are days that it seems like we may be getting a little bit better, and then there are days when we don't seem like we're getting a little bit better. How big of a challenge is that?
Sure, it's a huge challenge in every industry, and part of what we do in the trades, we do have drug testing, pre-employment, because you're working around heavy equipment and around other people, and so you have to be drug free. But what we do is we're working with some of these programs, Jobs and Hope and Recovery. We've got training, and we're working with, it's called the School of Diversion and Transition, which is the kind of the CTE programs in the jails. And so they're training people in these industries that we want, and they can come out and go back to work and be a productive member of society, which is really what, these incarceration, when you're incarcerated, that's what you want. You want to be able to come back and have a job, and then you're not going to hopefully fall back into some of those things. And so it's really important to work to get people out of bad situations into a job.
So where can people learn more how to take advantage of this?
Sure.
program?
So our website is wvtrades.org, and that has links to all 14 crafts, and information about apprenticeships, contact information on there. So happy to reach out and talk to anybody.
All right, Justin, always a pleasure to have you on the show. And it's kind of chaos here right now with the sock drop going on. I had to shoot you an email yesterday and say, well, you're going to have to park off site a little bit out there because we've got our parking lot filled with vans out there, and hopefully folks are donating their socks today. So I appreciate you working with us on that.
No problem. It's great to you all do these events to support our community, and it's one of the things our unions do as well. We did a big angel tree at our office this year, and so it's what's nice about our organization. We represent 20,000 construction workers, but they're local West Virginia workers, and they're all involved in our communities, whether it be at little leagues or churches or whatever it is. So
that's what it's all about. Justin Williams, again, the director of ACT, that is the Affiliated Construction Trades Organization. I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks a lot. Good stuff.
Thanks, Dave.
24 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling a kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, to keep it safe and keep it legal, get with Pinnacle Consultants. They can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within about a week. Testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead in West Virginia is the law. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can hurt you. Brian Dayton from the State Chamber of Commerce coming up next on The Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses live to make life better for you and your family.
A deeper perspective requires time. When you walk in your elders' shoes, you begin to better appreciate their choices, like automobiles. Deeper than mere looks, value, dependability, safety, and day-to-day usability become your new criteria. Now you understand why they chose to drive one of ours.
Find your new ride at Larry Dawson's Auto Sales in Nitro. They've been buying and selling cars for over 30 years. LarryDawsons.com.
Are missing teeth affecting your confidence and quality of life? Dental implants may be the right option for you. Let Garib Dental Group, with their skilled team of doctors at 6 locations, be your trusted source for dental implants. With dental implants from Garib Dental Group, you can eat, speak, and laugh with confidence. Dental implants can change someone's life for the better. Visit GaribDentalGroup.com to find out more and take the first steps towards a healthier, happier smile. And at Garib Dental Group, like always, we love to see your smile.
Biggly Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, an in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online for pickup at BigglyPigglyWiggly.com. Bigly Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. No one beats the pig.
Ready for a different banking experience? Become a member at Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union and learn what it means to be a part of the credit union movement.
MCWV is a not-for-profit organization with a mission to provide quality financial products and services, low loan rates and terms, and accounts to fit your unique needs.
As a member, you're also an owner of the credit union with voting rights, dividends, and are a part of the support given to our community.
Become a member today at 201 Ohio Avenue in Charleston or online at memberschoicewv.com. Restrictions may apply.
Member of the NCUA.
23 minutes away from 10. Bigly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by your local insurance experts from Brightway, the Maze agency of Tays Valley. From your home to your car, even to your pet, Brightway, the Maze agency, will customize the perfect insurance plan for you. Brightway, the Maze agency. They aren't just agents, they're your friends and neighbors. Call John and Sherry Maze today, 304-814-2509, to visit brightwaymaze.com. Text says, concerning our last guest talking about construction jobs, says drug-free include medical cannabis. Well, I actually asked Justin before he left, because I didn't get the text in time, and Justin had to leave us, but I asked him that very question. As it stands right now in West Virginia, and if I'm wrong, somebody can correct me, but and this is according to Justin, they test for usage at this point. So drug-free at this time, if you're using medical cannabis, as what Justin was saying, and I'm hoping that this is, I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. I just hope that I know that I'm explaining it properly. At this time, medical cannabis, that would be considered not drug-free. Does that make any sense, Brian, what I just said?
I think so.
All right, so that's where we are right now. Brian Dayton from the West Virginia Chamber of Commerce is here. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Dave, it's great to be back. I think we last saw you a couple weeks ago, so it's great to be back on, and we're in full swing with the session now.
Did you see we've added to the studio here? We have a Spencer Atkins bobblehead.
That's super nice. Where can I get one?
Well, this was a gift from a person over at WOWK, Rich West, who is one of their sales weasels over there. We have sales weasels here. They have sales weasels there, and Rich is one of their sales weasels over there. And he gifted. I did a TV commercial, and he gifted this to me. So it's going to set in here. And if we keep up with the kind of weather we've had this past week, we're going to hang this thing in effigy. Okay, because we're not feeling the Spencer's actually going to be on the show tomorrow, but anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you, things kind of creepy, man. It's a true bobblehead.
It's just sitting there looking at you.
It just keeps bobbling. Time. I mean, I know it's a bobblehead; it's supposed to bobble, but gosh, it just constantly bobbles, man. It's weird. We have a Brian Dayton bobblehead anywhere?
We don't. Not that I'm aware of.
Steve Roberts bobblehead?
Not that I'm aware. I can't tell you what my wife hasn't had created on Etsy and sent in, but
That's true.
Who knows?
That is true. All right, so the Dome is the place to be this week. Session underway. State Chamber, I know that you've been keeping an eye on things. You're there just about every day. I can tell that you've been there a lot because you come in. Last time you didn't have a tie on, so today you've got a tie on. So you must have been hanging out there, or you're going there later today. I want to talk a little bit about something that has been in the news, and I know the Chamber is keeping a close eye on, and that's childcare in West Virginia. Not always the sexiest of topics in session, where we've talked about capital punishment and cannabis and things of that nature. But child care, and not to state the obvious, Brian, is extremely important, and in some cases is crucial to whether or not someone takes a job. What's the state looking at on this right now?
So let me just back up a little bit and give some extra flavor to why this issue is so important. West Virginia has the lowest workforce participation rate in the country by a few percentage points. A big reason, there were multiple reasons to it, but a big reason is the lack of availability of child care in West Virginia, the affordability of child care in West Virginia, and also making sure that those are high quality programs. Just to give an example, the average cost, and I've talked to a few child care providers, the average cost is about $800. It's a little bit more for younger children. It can be a little bit less as children get a little bit older, but we're just going to ballpark it about $800. And that actually doesn't cover the child care center's operating costs, believe it or not.
Right.
It's very expensive to run these. So put it this way. If you have a family with two children, and they are making the median household income in West Virginia, which is about $51,000. When you look at their pay, what's taken out of their pay via taxes, insurance, and look at their take-home pay, you're probably talking 50, 60, maybe 70% is going out the door to go to a child care facility. That is almost unworkable. So what you have is a lot of people that have made the conscious decision, you know what, I could work for less than minimum wage to not see my children, or I can tighten our belts a little bit and one spouse, goes off to work and the other one stays home. We did that with my family when we looked at the cost. So that is really driving this whole discussion about child care in West Virginia. 5 years ago, the legislature largely didn't really want to pay too much attention to it. Now, it is a very, very high priority in both the House and the Senate. So we're very excited about that.
There was talk, I think, Mr. Woelfel from down in Cabell County, I think was the one that had was talking about doing some kind of a child, like a tax credit or something like that.
Yeah, there are a number of bills and approaches that are being looked at right now. Senator Woelfel's is one of those approaches to find a way to provide some extra assistance to those who really need it. The Chamber has a couple bills on this topic. The one that we're really having as a priority encourages businesses to operate these facilities. We have so many counties in West Virginia where there aren't enough childcare. I think the statistic is there are over 20 counties that have less than 100 daycare slots in the entire county. Mm-hmm. So we have a bill that would provide a tax credit to businesses who operate a childcare facility and provide that as a benefit for their employees. Another thing that we're very supportive of is permanently changing the reimbursement rate for subsidized children from attendance to enrollment. So if you're a private child care provider, you have your private payers. If you have people who are on subsidy and sending their children there, the state will pick up that tab. Now, there is a copay assigned to it, but prior to the COVID pandemic, those child care providers were paid by the state based on attendance. Well, if that child and their family, they only send that child there for 3 days a month, mm-hmm. They only got paid for 3 days a month, but they still have all the staffing there. They have all the overhead, all the insurance costs. And so when the COVID pandemic rolled around, it got changed to enrollment. And so if the child is enrolled, then the state will basically pay for them. Right now, that is set to expire later this year. What will likely happen is if that is allowed to expire, you will have a lot of private child care providers who, in order to stay in business and not go under, will have to greatly limit the number of subsidized children that they can take. And we're talking about families who really need this extra help in order to be able to go to work. So that is a high priority of permanently changing it from attendance to enrollment. It's also very likely that the federal government's going to require that in the next couple of years, mm-hmm. So it's staying ahead of the game. That is another major priority. But it's being looked at. There's a task force that is being headed up by Delegate Kathy Hess-Krause. It's got a number of House members on it. There's a lot of incentive over in the Senate to do something. So there are a lot of moving parts right now, but I feel very optimistic that we can make some real progress on this issue.
Brian Dayton from the State Chamber of Commerce is with us. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. Brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month is your favorite Huston's. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of appetizer meatballs, only $24.99. Dine-in, delivery, or pickup. Visit HustonsPizza.com. What else are you guys and gals and folks looking for under the dome?
We're always looking at, are there ways to make it easier to do business in West Virginia as far as regulations or how taxes are applied? That is always a top priority. Workforce, which ties right into child care, continues to be something that is all-encompassing, and it's going to need to take some real reform. We have landed so many really big developments into West Virginia. You think about Nucor, Procter & Gamble, Owens & Minor, Green Power Motor Company, Forum Energy. A lot of these, the Berkshire Hathaway development up in Jackson County, a lot of those things have been really impressive wins on the economic development front. But the real concern is if we don't figure out a way to solve the workforce problem, it's going to be harder and harder to attract these companies there because they've got to have workers. And so, I think probably any of your listeners can, understand when you go out to a restaurant right now, you might be waiting a lot more because there are fewer servers there. Mm-hmm. Well, any business that we're talking to right now is saying, I've got jobs open. Mm-hmm. I've got them open. I can't find people for them. So
what exactly? Okay, let me interrupt you here. And this is just, I don't know whether you know the answer to this. If you did, you'd probably not be working. You'd just be in Florida somewhere right now enjoying the great idea that you had. But, what are people doing, Brian? I've asked him, from the employer standpoint, and I've asked, I can't really get an answer. If people aren't working, what are they doing? to gain money, because all the money that went out with COVID and all this other that's done.
Gone. That's done.
There's been significant reforms within the welfare system, entitlement programs, whatever you want to call it, that there's not as many people on those rolls. So what exactly are people doing to make money?
That is a good question. I think you have a lot of single, or not single family homes, but families where there's one income. One spouse stays home, the other doesn't, and that can tie right back to the child care issue that we've been discussing. I do think when COVID arrived, we had a lot of people that were nearing retirement age, but might have been 5 or 6 or 7 years ahead, and just said, you know what? I'm done. And so we had a greater exodus on the closer to retirement people than they were ready for, and they haven't been able to have time to backfill that. I think that's been a part of the problem, and hopefully over time that starts to iron back out. But Dave, that's a great question. What are they doing? The national workforce participation rate average is about 62 to 63%, and we're at 55%. And just so your listeners understand what that number means, if you are over the age of 16 and you are not institutionalized or in the military, so institutionalized would be you're in a prison or you're in a long-term care facility, or you're in the military. But if you are over the age of 16 and not in that category, you are considered available for the workforce. The percentage that are in the workforce are those who are actively working or those who are collecting unemployment. Because if you are collecting unemployment, there's a finite period of time that you can receive unemployment assistance, but that means that you are actively looking for a job. So we're talking 55% of our population, 16 or older, not institutionalized. Now, part of our problem is we have an elderly population. If you are 90 and you're not institutionalized, you're not in the military, you're still considered by that definition available. So that is part of our problem, is that we have an elderly population. But it doesn't explain the 9% gap, or 8 to 9% gap between the West Virginia and the United States.
Okay. All right. Well, I got a text here for you. You ready?
Okay.
Text says, does Mr. Dayton agree that child care is infrastructure? If so, ask him which major political party put forth this idea in Congress.
So, I would say it is just as important as infrastructure. And what we're most excited about, Dave, is that this is bipartisan. The Chamber had a bill 2 years ago during the 2022 session that very similar to what we're looking at now, but different, provided tax credits to businesses who started a daycare facility. That bill passed the Senate. I believe it was 31-3, and I think it was 94-2 in the House with a few absent. It was overwhelmingly bipartisan. What is going on right now, that task force I mentioned earlier being headed by Delegate Krause, has Democrats on that task force as well as Republicans. So this is not a partisan issue, and we're very, very happy about that. This is one of those things that everybody has come together and realized we have to tackle this. And I think that's just been, for a long time, there's been a push to get this elevated, and it's elevated. So, it's not something I'm going to say is a Republican or a Democrat thing. This is bipartisan, and that's good.
What's under the dome today? I know Hoppy's going to be there coming up at 10:06 from the AARP broadcast facility there at the Capitol. What are you looking at specifically today?
Today we're continuing to watch the candidate filings. Every day, it's just interested to see who's filing for office. We are less than 4 months away now from the primary election, which, aside from a handful of districts in the legislature, they're going to be decided in May. So that's something we're paying close attention to. We've got meetings set up on, again, child care just continues to be there. Always enjoy having Hoppy down in the Capitol. It just adds a little bit of extra atmosphere in the dome, brings more energy there. So there's a lot going on. We're also looking at the snowstorm tomorrow to see what they can try to cram in today. And I'd be remiss if I said the Chamber has a great event coming up tonight. We have our legislative reception right next door at the Culture Center. So that's always a great opportunity to bring our members, bring the legislature together, to have an opportunity to talk and just mingle with each other.
All right, Brian Dayton from the State Chamber of Commerce. I'll have you on again a couple times because I want to have you on definitely after we have the candidate filings, because the deadline is midnight on the 27th to file, and I'm interested to see, because I know you guys have done some endorsements and probably will do some more. I'm interested to see. We'll have you on a couple times before the primary election, but definitely after the candidate filings, want to have you on to talk about it. All right, we're going to take a break. Brian, I appreciate you being here. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan. With more than $20 billion recovered, they believe that when you're injured, you deserve more. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Hello, I am Judge Stephanie Abraham, and I am running for Circuit Court here in Kanawha County.
Judge Stephanie Abraham was appointed to the Circuit Court by Governor Jim Justice. Judge Stephanie Abraham owned and managed her own law firm and was an attorney for the Department of Education and general counsel for the State Board of Education. Judge Stephanie Abraham is a fair and balanced but tough judge who will always follow the Constitution to protect liberty and achieve justice for all.
I am Judge Stephanie Abraham. I appreciate your vote for Kanawha County Circuit Court.
Paid for by the committee to elect Judge Stephanie Abraham.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC. Pepperoni Grill is back as this week's 50-50 Friday. You love pizzas, wings, pasta, pulled pork, and hot dogs? Now enjoy their delicious soup and grilled cheese special, including homemade chili. And don't forget about the pepperoni rolls. Get 2 large 2-topping pizzas and a cheese bread for $22.99, and wings are only 69 cents Thursday through Saturday. Order online at pepperonigrills.com. Friday at 9 a.m. Go to WCHSnetwork.com and click the 50-50 Friday button to get 50% off gift certificates for Pepperoni Grill, courtesy of the WCHS family of networks.
I am Miss West Virginia USA, future doctor.
And I am Miss West Virginia America, future educator.
We are partnering with the West Virginia Department of Education as ambassadors for learning.
By supporting the department's Ready, Read, Write Literacy Initiative
and the Unite with Numeracy Mathematics Initiative, we will increase student learning.
We must do this together.
Because teachers can't do this alone.
For resources and more information, visit wvde.us.
It's 9:53, 7 minutes away from 10. Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text, 304-935-5008. West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. Take a few minutes to be inspired and join the collective effort in making a difference. Not just a story, it's a movement of hope, inclusivity, and triumph, reminding us all that every individual deserves a chance to shine in West Virginia and beyond. Huntington is truly making a difference right here at home. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580 WCHS. Well, I want to remind you that the West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show is coming to the Coliseum and Convention Center tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Hours are noon till 9 Friday, 9 to 9 Saturday, 10 till 5 on Sunday. Admission price is $12 for those 13 and up and free for those under that. A lot of your favorite WVRC media folks will be hanging out there, including the returning Bionic Man, Chris Lawrence. He is back. Chris has been off for about 5 weeks with hip replacement surgery. He is ready and raring to go. He'll be there throughout the weekend. Great to have Chris. He'll be back in the morning news, I understand, this Monday. So great to have Chris back in the fold, and he'll be over there. I'm going to be there Sunday, I think. And again, most of us, or all of our stations, are going to be there at some point. So come over and see us at the West Virginia Hunting and Fishing Show at the Coliseum and Convention Center Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Text says, why restaurants don't have employees? Low wages. Income is reliant on tips and dealing with the rude and ungrateful general public who don't tip, says a texter. Text says, Dave, people are Grubhub, DoorDash. They don't have people to tell them what to do, work at their own pace. Just checked. Still having a population exit. Text says, Dave, when you have a politician on your show spewing lies, could we have a hardworking man or woman on the next day to counter the lies? Think about this show. If you've not learned this by now in the nearly 4 years that I've been doing this show, is that all types are welcome here on the show. I don't turn anybody away that wants to come on the show. And you're always welcome to call. That's why we have this Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858, or you can text us up from Fruith's 304-935-5008. But yeah, anytime that anybody wants to, all you got to do is reach out to me. And let me mention this as well. You know, we are in the campaign season right now. As I said, the filing deadline will end on Saturday night, the 27th at midnight. And so, if you're a political candidate that's filed, or you're thinking about filing or whatever, and you want on the show, once the candidate filing period is over, we're going to start limiting the number of times people can come on, because then it basically becomes a commercial. So what I need you to do, if you want to get on the schedule, is the best way to reach me really is by email. And the email address is dave.allen@wvradio.com, dave.allen@wvradio.com. Just email me and let me get you on the schedule because, again, once the candidate filing period is over, we can't let people on several times because then it becomes a commercial. So we're going to start limiting people the amount of times if you're running for office, probably give you one shot, and that'll be it once the candidate filing period is over. Drop me an email, dave.allen@wvradio.com. Text says, if you value child care, ask Carol Miller and Alex Mooney why they voted with other congressional Republicans to end child care funding. Hoppy, as I mentioned, is back at the Capitol coming up at 10:06. The talk about the high school transfer rule continues. Kanawha County Delegate Dana Farrell was a very vocal opponent of the new rule, himself an educator. And Senator Ryan Well, the guy behind the new rules, they're going to have a discussion about it with Hoppy coming up at some point during the show. Also, Brad McElhenny will be stopping by Hoppy, 10:06 from the AARP broadcast location at the Capitol. Texas Burger King in Tays Valley has had their dining room shut down for several years. But newsflash, my car is not a proper place to eat food. I don't have a table in my car, and besides that, I'm driving. BK in Tays Valley has lost a lot of money from me over the years. Well, I'm trying to throw Burger King under the bus, but they probably don't have people to work. That's probably the reason. State Republican Party will have their winter meeting this Saturday in Charleston, and among the items, more than likely, they're going to be choosing a new chair. As word is, it's kind of become common knowledge now, is that current party chair Elgin McCardle is going to be stepping down, possibly to run for office herself. So they're going to be taking a look at that. But also, you've heard Hoppy talking about this. In fact, it was the subject of his commentary this morning. This move where some within the Republican Party want to change the Republican Party primary so only registered Republicans can vote in it. Now, here's what I mean. I did not phrase that correctly. I don't mean that they can't vote. I mean, we're talking about independents here. If you are a registered independent, nonpartisan, whatever you want to, unaffiliated, when you go to vote, you can request a Republican or a Democratic ballot. If you're a registered independent, the law is in West Virginia, you go into the poll worker and you say, I am an independent, but I want a Republican ballot or I want a Democratic ballot. By law, the poll worker is not allowed to ask you which one you want. I learned that in my days in the Secretary of State's office. You can't do that. But you have to ask for one. Now, there is a move, and I guess it's going to be discussed at the state Republican Party meetings in Charleston this weekend, that would basically make it, if you're an independent, you would not be able to do that. Now, the party chair, Elgin McCardle, isn't necessarily opposed to that, but she is expressing some concern about the timing. And a few county clerks, or the people that actually run elections in the state, many of them are opposed to it. In fact, one of those county clerks is going to join Hoppy at the Capitol today. I will say this in closing. I don't know if they've really thought this whole thing through. To be honest with you, I think it's a bad idea, especially with the timing. But, I'll say this. Where I'm from in southern West Virginia, there are a lot of people that are registered as independent because they may think Republican. They're conservative. They have all the Republican talking points. But their heritage is being a Democrat, and they just can't seem to make that switch over. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Text says, Dave Allen, all types are welcome on my show, even liars. It explains why a lot of GOPs come on the show. I put on the show whoever asks to come on the show. All right, we got to go. Coming up on tomorrow's show, Hannah Gardner from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week, and Doug Cipollette on School Choice Week, which is coming up. Also, Spencer Adkins will be on the show as well. My producer was the boss, Dale Cooper. Thank you so much. Hoppy's coming up. Drop your socks on our parking lot here, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston, 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.